Hello, folks, and welcome to the Vertigo Tea Party and the channel update for December 2015. First of all, I want to welcome all the new subscribers who have joined recently. Obviously, welcome to the old ones as well. But this has been a big month for me. A lot of new folks have been joining up in large part due to Fallout and Blade and Soul. So I want to say welcome to you folks in particular. If you're new or if you're old and just haven't yet, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter. One thing that I've been very pleased about is with the Fallout series. In particular, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback. I've also got what you would consider negative feedback. In other words, saying, oh, I don't like you missed this, or you didn't know this mechanic, or you didn't do this. That kind of stuff is totally fine by me. I mean, try not to be a total dickhole about it, but I have no problem with negative feedback as well. Like, the sound's too loud, or, why don't you do this instead of just running in and getting yourself killed like an idiot? Again, feedback like that is totally welcome just as much as positive feedback. You don't improve if you don't hear the negative stuff, right? So again, I'm very much open to the negative feedback. If you want to send it to me in a private message or on Twitter, that's totally fine too. But just want to make sure that I'm open to both positive and negative feedback as far as that goes. Because I know some channels kind of frowned upon any kind of negative feedback. That is not the case here. Anyway, as typical, I'm going to kind of start off with the stuff that'll probably interest everybody who's watching. In other words, the stuff that I will and won't be playing this month. And then near the end, I'm going to start talking about some of the behind the scenes stuff that a lot of people probably won't care about. And then I'll just kind of give you a warning so that those of you who want to kind of tune out can go watch something else. So first of all, I have two questions for everyone. I'm a little feedback from you guys. First question, what kind of stuff do you enjoy watching on YouTube, gaming related? And more specifically, what would you like to see me doing? Would you like to see more just blind Let's Plays, more Let's Plays that aren't blind, some more tea times? Tea times, if you're new, is where I just discuss a particular topic, more podcast stuff, more reviews. Like, what kind of thing do you like to watch on YouTube? Again, gaming related. And what would you like to see particularly out of this channel? Like, what do you see that you like? Let's put it that way. One thing, I also would be interested in what games you would like to see me do blind Let's Plays of, or semi-blind at least if I've played it once in the past. Keep in mind, I will definitely be open to suggestions of what you guys say, but I'm putting on the screen my current backlog of games that I want to Let's Play right now. As you can see, it's quite large. So this does give me an idea of what you guys want to see, but if it's not on that backlog, there's a fairly good chance I won't be playing it anytime soon. That doesn't mean I absolutely won't. New things pop up all the time, but just keep that in mind. But I definitely want to see what type of content, again, full Let's Plays, edited stuff, etc., and any particular games that you would like to see me play as well. The second question I had, and you can label this question number 2 in the comments, is does it bother you that very frequently, especially recently, I tend to record way ahead of what you guys see live? So for example, today is December the 1st. I've still got Fallout recorded for another, I think, week and a half, 2 weeks. I actually haven't played, again, today's December 1st. I haven't played Fallout since the first week it was released. I recorded that much content in the week, and I've been doing other things, in the background, real life stuff, channel stuff, whatever. So I know some people are like, oh, they get disappointed when they find out, like, oh yeah, I'm like 10, 20 hours past what you guys see. So is that a problem for you? Like, does it bother you? Some people like the more live feedback. Like, it's not necessarily 1 or 2 days ahead, but at least within like a few hours of what you're seeing is within a few hours of where I'm at. So some people don't like that because they want to offer advice and they want to have some back and forth. But, obviously if you give me advice in video 1 and I've already encoded up to video 25, I can't really act on your suggestion for a long time. So is that something for you, or do you just not care? Because I'm looking at maybe changing the way I do things. And I'll talk about that more at the tail end of this video. But I want to get you guys' feedback on if that matters to you even remotely. So here's what's coming this month. First of all, there's going to be more Witcher. Witcher will end this month. I'm actually finished playing The Witcher. I finished most of it like during the 24-hour podcast or a 24-hour thing I did for Extra Life. So Witcher is actually finished. I beat the game like 3 weeks ago, and it will finish uploading this month. More Metal Gear Solid 5. I've been practicing off camera so that I'm sucking less. Note, I say less, not at all. Kind of learning the ins and outs, but there will be more Metal Gear Solid 5. Obviously, more Fallout 4 of the hand-to-hand, the unarmed run. We will also be seeing the return of Super Game Talk podcast. Yes, we are finally starting. In fact, it should have been up already, but scheduling problems happened, and we will be doing that on should be Saturday. So I probably have it up on the channel Sunday or Monday. We will see about that. And we're changing the format of the podcast a little bit. I will be changing it more to talking about topics, game topics, as opposed to just talking about the news. We might talk about the news sometimes, but we want to talk a little bit more about kind of general gaming ideas and just, I guess, concepts. It'll make sense once the first few episodes start coming out. But I'm pretty excited that it's coming back, and hopefully we'll actually keep it consistent this time. And there's actually going to be 3 of us now. So worst case scenario, if one person's unavailable, we can record with just 2 of us. So that is definitely what's coming this month. Also, or at least that's what's continuing this month. As far as the new stuff that's coming this month, it's going to be short games. I will be starting Her Story and finishing it most likely because I think that game is like 2 to 3 hours. So I'll be doing Her Story. And also some real life friends of mine. We have a dorky little game club that we do every few months. And our game that we're going to be discussing early in January is going to be Life is Strange. So I will be starting a Life is Strange Let's Play this month as well. Again, probably finishing it fairly soon. We'll see about that. But yeah, it should probably go throughout the month. But it'll probably start in the next week or 2. But anyway, so that is the stuff that should definitely be coming this month. Also, my top games of 2015. I'll be talking about my favorite games of 2015, including my game of the year. That, you know, everybody does that, and I'll be doing it too, because if everybody jumped off of a bridge, so would I. What you may see some of is more Blade and Soul. I'd like to get back to that and play that a little bit more. Possibly Black Desert Online. I've put in to get beta keys or a beta key singular. So I'm really hoping to get into that. Possibly also Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which is definitely was not seriously on my radar, but I got a free copy of it when I ordered an SSD drive. So I may start that this month. However, I highly, highly doubt that's going to happen. But, you know, it could. Also, Game of Thrones, the Telltale game, has finished. Or at least season 1 or whatever has finished. And I've actually got 2 episodes of that. I might knock that out this month. Since, again, I should be able to knock it out fairly quickly. And I think I only have 3 or 4 episodes to play. Shouldn't take more than 8 to 9 hours, I don't imagine. So I might do that as well. Another huge maybe is Hitman. I love Hitman, but there's just no time to really fit it in. If it turns out that it gets really good reviews, I might look into it. But after Absolution, my faith in them has dropped quite a bit. I feel like they lost their way on what a Hitman game is supposed to be. So I'll keep my eye on it, and I'm really hoping it's good. But I don't see that happening this month. The Bloodborne DLC will not be happening. I did do a Let's Play of Bloodborne. It won't be happening this month. Probably sometime next year. I definitely want to play it because I love the game. But it almost certainly won't happen until sometime early next year. Also, as far as what's not going to be popping up, at least this month, almost certainly is Far Cry 3. Again, game looks great. I really want to play it. I'm just having a hard time finding, time to fit it in. So anyway, that is the kind of essentials part of the update. If you want to kind of drop out now, feel free. I'm just going to be covering some kind of behind the scenes, boring to some stuff now. Boring to some stuff. That doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean. Anyway, if you are cutting out, I thank you a lot for watching, and I definitely want your comments below so I can get some feedback from you guys. That's one of the best things about doing this. So yeah, make sure to leave comments and follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you guys next time. Those of you who are dropping out. So if you are staying here, some behind the scenes stuff. I've considered this a long time, and I finally pulled the trigger thanks to Black Friday week / Cyber Monday week. Why do we even call it that anymore? Point being, I bought a dedicated machine. I figured I could either buy and spec out the parts and put them all together myself and all that crap. But this machine, I bought a machine for like $400. And it's not a totally badass rig, but the only thing this machine is going to do is encode videos. And if you're not familiar with the process, especially encoding 1440p 60 FPS videos takes a very long time. Even if you use the lowest bitrate that YouTube recommends, it can take 5.5 to 6 hours to record a 1 hour video. So think of it that way. For every for every hour you watch, it takes my computer 5 to 6 hours to encode, and that's with a beefy CPU and with a GPU helping a little bit. So it's very time consuming, and while it's encoding, it's very difficult to play games. Games aren't usually that CPU intensive, but the encoder is going to take enough priority from the CPU to make games lag usually. So it's not usually a good idea to play and encode. So I'm often limited. So especially if I record a lot, that means I'm locking the computer up. Like I calculated it took about 5.5 to 6 full days of encoding to encode all the stuff that I had for Fallout. So needless to say, that puts me in kind of a bind because I can't record during it. I can always pause and pick it up later, but again, that's only dragging out how long it's taking. You're going to back up on hard drive space, blah, 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 blah. So I really wanted to get a dedicated machine. So I bought this PC for $400. It just actually came in today. So I'm going to set it up and get Premiere set up on it and all that good stuff. So hopefully that will allow me more time to actually record without worrying about, I'm running out of disk space because I haven't been encoding and blah, blah, blah. So that's going to be cool. That means hopefully will mean more consistent videos. I'm just hoping it encodes at a decent speed, but I guess we'll see. Also, as far as channel performance, this month, or I guess I should say last month, November, probably the best month I've ever had as far as views and new subscribers, which obviously makes me very pleased. I'm very happy that not only just from a channel growth perspective, but because I love Fallout so much, I love the series so much, I really wanted the Fallout 4 the series to take off because, all business type stuff aside, I want people to watch it. That's why, that's the main reason I put videos up, because I want people to watch. I want people to enjoy and leave comments and interact and all that stuff. So it was important to me that these videos get watched. Even if every single person watched had Adblock, that would be fine. I would obviously rather they didn't, but it'd be fine because people are watching, people are interacting, people are enjoying it. And, again, that's why you do this. So I'm very, very happy that has done as well as it has. And obviously the views drop off and have dropped off, for every video you make until they finally kind of reach a steady viewership. Like the people who lose are going to lose interest are probably going to do it after the first 5 to 6 videos. It's steadied out at a fairly decent clip, and I'm just really happy with that. So thank you guys, those of you who are old-time viewers who are enjoying that series, or again, new subscribers. I'm glad that you found it, and I hope that it continues to be interesting to you or amusing to you. There's definitely some rough patches, to say the least, which I expected to have with an unarmed playthrough on the hardest difficulty. But we do muster through, and I'm actually at the point now I feel like the difficulty has dropped drastically. That I probably shouldn't speak too soon, but I feel like now we're at the point where we can really start messing some shit up. So anyway, hope you guys are enjoying it. And obviously the folks of you too who came from like Blade and Soul, that was another very popular series that I did last month and the month before. I want to go back to that game at some point. Just because I enjoy it. It's just, again, finding time to do it. But and especially because the beta is open during weekends only, unless they've changed that. So, but yeah, I definitely want to go back to that too. But it pleases me that you guys are seemingly enjoying my content. So thanks for that. So let's talk about what I just talked about, where I said, "Oh, I don't have time to play this game." But then you might recognize, and I'm not blind to this, that I talk about, oh, I'm so busy, I don't have time to play these other games. There's too much to play. But then all of a sudden, I start doing videos on Blade and Soul. Out of nowhere, it's like, well, wait a minute. I thought you said you didn't have any time. I thought you were super busy. Like, why did you have to make time for this? Because when an opportunity like that pops up for a game that's fairly highly anticipated, but not a ton of people have access to, especially as a small channel, I have to hop on that. Well, I don't have to, obviously, but I really want to hop on that to try to grab, first, be in the lead, so to speak. Because I realize this is more in depth, but there's going to be a level where everybody is just bored. Long story short, if you're a small channel, it gets very, very hard to get recognized unless you're doing something unique that not many people are doing, aka Blade and Soul, or you're doing something in a way that makes it different than other people are playing that same game. For example, Fallout 4. I can almost guarantee you that very few people would have found my channel if I would have did a standard Fallout 4 sniper build like I normally do, because I'm sure tons of people do that. But because I changed it up and went with something that a lot of people aren't going to think to do, or don't want to do, which is a hand-to-hand build, I think I drew in a lot of people that way. And looking at the analytics of how people found my channel, that's obviously how they're finding it. They're finding it by searching for things like Fallout 4 Unarmed, Fallout 4 Melee, Fallout 4 Hand-to-Hand, things like that. So you got to really do these things to stand out, or else you're just going to get trampled by the big channels, because they're going to show up higher in the search results for a variety of reasons that I'll not bore you with. So that's why I will not have much time, but I will make time for things like that. And I'm interested. Like I'm, if you've been around my channel long, I love MMOs. I just can't give them up. I've been playing them since EverQuest 1, and I feel like I just want to play every single one that comes out, at least initially. And if I could, I would probably do nothing but play MMOs almost, just because I like them so much and just jumping from one to the other. But that's the other part. I'm not doing it just to get people in, right? I actually have been interested in this game, Blade and Soul, for a while. And when I got the chance to play it, I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to play it and show it on the channel as well. Same with Black Desert Online. That game looks really cool, and I really want to try that as well and show it off on the channel. So if I get access to it, and it's not, NDA protected or whatever, then I will do videos on that. So that's why, I'll talk about, I don't have much time. But then I'll sometimes veer and do those games as well. That's just something I've noticed that I say a lot, and I want it to be clear on. Also, the podcast, as I mentioned, Super Game Talk, is coming back. We have a new person with us, with me and Travis, and we are going to focus less on the news, but we're going to talk more about like ideas. So, for example, this coming week, we're going to be talking about something I've talked about in my Fallout videos that I call Bethesda jank, which I totally stole the whole jank thing from Travis from the podcast, where he used to talk about how indie games didn't feel quite smoothed out a lot of times. He always calls it indie jank. And I really like that expression. So I kind of turned it around into Bethesda jank. And anybody who's played Bethesda games know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Like the animations aren't quite smooth. The camera acts just a little weird. The interface is just a little bit kludgy. The AI is just a little bit off and goofy. Just things that like lack polish that you would expect in an indie game, except it's a AAA studio who sells several million copies of their game within the first week, right? So we want to talk about that in particular because there was an article on Wired, I believe it was, which talked about, is this the most ridiculous article? It talked about how, like, oh, I'm glad that Bethesda games have these bugs because it really makes the game endearing. And, they really couldn't make these games without a little bit of jank and all this other just total bullshit, frankly. So we wanted to talk about, like, talk about the bugginess and the unpolishedness of Bethesda games. Is it excusable? If so, why? Why do we give Bethesda a pass on this bugginess when, say, games like Assassin's Creed Unity get completely raked over the coals for it? So, and obviously I don't want to get distracted and end up talking about this for 30 minutes. But long story short, that gives you an idea of the type of thing we wanted to talk about. And again, is more concepts. Other concepts I love to talk about. And this is something I wanted to talk about a long time, is difficulty. Like, what makes a game hard? For example, like Dark Souls. Everybody calls Dark Souls hard. I don't consider Dark Souls hard per se. And that's not really like me chest beating. It's just I don't think of it as hard. Because, as an example, what if you took an easy game like DuckTales on the NES and they changed it? They made them exactly the same, except if you get hit once, you die. There's no lives and there's no continues. Every single time you have to start the entire game from the start. Would that game that is normally considered very easy, would that game suddenly become hard just because you have a very high punishment for deaths? Would that game make the game hard all of a sudden? And if so, is that a quality kind of difficulty? Again, tons of different topics like that I'd love to discuss at length. And these guys, I think we could have some really interesting conversations. So I hope you guys are ready to tune in for that. If you're interested and want to jump ahead, you can go ahead and go to supergametalk.com. And I'm going to have links in the description below to anything I consider, relevant to what I talked about today. But actually, that might be down. Ignore what I just said. Don't bother going to that website because I think it might be borked. Oh wait, I think I borked it once. There we go. I typed in Super Gamer Talk. It's supergametalk.com. You can listen to our old ones. I don't know. Actually, no, they're not there anymore. Shit, man. I'm glad I researched this ahead of time. Anyway, don't worry about it. The new ones will be coming. I will be putting it on the site. However, we're also going to find a solution so that you can listen to it through your podcast viewer. It might not be immediately, but we're looking into solutions as far as that goes. But at the very least, I'll have it on the channel so that you can watch it / listen to it there. There's no visual to go with it. We're just doing it all over Skype. So anyway, that's coming within a week. Hope you guys are looking forward to that. I know that I am for sure. So anyway, that's enough of me rambling. Thank you guys for subscribing and watching and leaving comments and all that good stuff. Again, make sure to answer those questions that I asked earlier on. Again, which are, what kind of stuff do you enjoy watching? Gaming wise on YouTube. And second question, does it bother you that I get far ahead in games? As opposed, I'd be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours ahead playing the game versus what you guys see. Is that something that bothers you, or do you just not care? Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.